Hello and welcome to Grace Media USA, your platform number one, the platform that brings you the messages of hope, hymns, and America information. If you're new into this channel, you're welcome to join the family. You can choose to subscribe, to like, to share, and to comment on my videos. You're welcome. You will be at the right place, at the right time, for the right information. Thank you. Green Card Lottery 2024 application is just around the corner. Beginning on Wednesday, October 5th, 2022, noon time, New York time, East African time, that is 7 p.m. in the evening, you will be given a chance to apply for Green Card Lottery, your journey to diversity visa application. And you can't afford to miss this. If you have watched my previous video, I introduced you to the instructions for the application of DV Lottery 2024. We looked at what your requirements are. First of all, are you eligible to apply for the DV Lottery? We looked at that in that video. How can you know that you are eligible to apply for the DV Lottery? We also highlighted the questions that you expect once the entry for application opens on Wednesday. If you have not watched that video, I ask you to go through that video. It's a very, very important video because it introduces you to the requirements of the DV Lottery 2024 application. Now, I had someone reaching me out with a question because I mentioned about a point that you cannot apply more than one time in that video. And the person was wondering, if I am married, can I apply and my spouse apply? Yes. Because you can apply as an individual and you claim your family in your application. So you bring in their information like your spouse, and if you have children, you bring them in as an individual. On the other hand, your spouse can also apply as an individual and claim you into his or her application together with the children. So in other words, if you are a couple, you can put in two applications, or you can place in two applications when you are applying for the DV Lottery, but each of the application is an individual one. So it's not like me as Grace, I'm applying two times. No, I apply one time, but I claim my family in. So because there's a section whereby you will be asked if you are married. And if you say yes, then you have to bring in the information of your spouse, whoever you are married in, and all the details, just as you will have filled your details, inclusive of the photographs. Alongside with, if you have children, you'll do the same. Now, on the other hand, the same will apply to your spouse. Your spouse can apply as an individual and then brings in your information or claims in his or her family into his or her application. I hope that question is very clear. And that actually gives you, when you do that as a couple or a married couple, it gives you a higher chance because Green Card Lottery is just like Lotto, as most of people have had. It's just a game of chance. So when you apply as a couple or married couple, you increase, each application, and you have placed two of them, but made by an individual. It's like you have increased your chance slightly than just doing one application as an individual. So if I do it, if I apply on self and I claim my family, that is one application, and my spouse applying his application and claiming his family, that is another application. I hope that question has been addressed for all that feels they needed to know and understand that. Now, today, I would like us to look at the standards that are required for the photographs, digital photographs that are supposed to be used in the application. So I'm going to take you through. Let me share with you the screen. And remember, these instructions are out there. They are on the website. If you check on my previous video under the description, you can be able to find a link that will lead you to the instruction in the DV program .state.gov. And it is upon you, just to go in depth to understand all that is required. I will highlight on some few key things, but it is important for you to go again and try to see, do you understand every bit that you are required to do? Let us focus on some photo standards, the standards that are required when it comes to the photographs for application of green card lottery. So we are going back to our instructions, and I would like us to go to where we didn't proceed in our previous video, and we are going to focus on the photos. Submitting a digital photograph. So I have highlighted some things which I'll be explaining in depth. So one, you can take a new digital photograph or scan a recent. A recent means what? That is taken within the last 6 months, not more than, more than 6 months ago. So you can scan such a photograph with a digital scanner. Maybe majority of us do not have these things, but there are some professionals, maybe in cyber cafe, who deals with, this kind of business, who can help you if you have a photo that has been taken within the last 6 months that you think it can be scanned. As long that photo must meet all the standards that we are going to discuss today, the photos. And our highlight today is the standards. This photo must meet some certain standards. And towards the end of this video, we are going to look at the examples of accepted photos. Examples of accepted photos and photos that are not accepted, which will help us to know, even when you will be looking at your photograph, your digital photo, you will be able to tell, does this really qualify to be a good photo? Does it meet the standards that are required? So do not submit a photograph older than 6 months, or a photograph that does not meet all the standards that are described here. So what are some of the standards described here? One, your photo must be in color, not a black and white picture. No, in color, like the way you can tell I'm wearing black. It's black. You can tell my natural color, You can tell the color that is just behind me of my furniture. It's brown, So it must be in color. It must be in focus. Your photo must be in focus. We are going to look at examples and see whether these things really apply or how they apply. Your photo must be the size of your head, must be between 1 inch and 1 3/8 inches. So there are some countries like United States, they use inches, but other countries like where I come from, East Africa, Kenya, we use, units like millimeter. So your head must be between 22 millimeter and 35 millimeter. So we are going to say that 22 by 35 millimeter, or 50% and 69% of the image total height from the bottom of the chin to the top of the head, from the bottom of the chin to the top of the head. Now, and actually, we will be able to view in a very soon the photo composition template of what that size means or looks like. Your photo, another standard, and this is clear, we have already mentioned this, it must be taken within the last 6 months to reflect your current appearance, because we do change with the time. Sometimes we lose weight, sometimes we add weight. So your photo should not have been taken, too long time ago, So it should be taken in front of a plain white or off-white background. In other words, if I take, like right now, the picture you see about me, at the back, there is some furniture, it is colored. If I take this picture and think I'm going to use it, it's not going to be acceptable. It should be in front of a plain white or off-white background. Yeah. The picture must be taken in full face, view directly facing the camera. So when you're taking that picture, you should face directly the camera. The next point here saying you should have a neutral facial expression with both eyes open. You should open your eyes. By the way, we are going to learn, even when it comes to glasses, you're supposed to remove them. You're supposed to remove your glasses. Like I wear glasses every day, but when you're taking this picture, you should remove your glasses and you should face your camera directly. You should allow your ears, my ears are kind of hiding. You should allow your ears to be seen completely. So that means you should face your camera directly. You should be in neutral, like don't do, like you're posing, all the kind of styles, Mostly, actually, we say neutral, you're not even showing a lot of expression like smiling and the like, no. Trying to position your ears in such a way they are both visible. They must be, if your ears are like mine, because mine tend to hide. There are some ears which are very visible, but mine tend to hide. So you should make sure that your ears are, that's why your focus is very important. The way you focus, your pose, very, very key, so that your photo will be directly taken, directly facing the camera. It should be done in front of a plain white. Your face view should be directly facing the camera, neutral facial expression with both eyes open. No glasses, even for people like me who wear glasses, no glasses. No other stuff, like even the earphones, the earphones that I'm using, you should remove all of those things. And I would say, even those who wear like earrings and all that, just be neutral. You're natural, you remove all those kind of stuff. So uniforms, yeah. So the other point here is that your picture should be taken in clothing that you normally wear on daily basis. You normally wear on daily basis. Uniforms should not be worn in your photo, except religious clothing that is worn daily. So when it comes to clothing, what you normally wear daily, that's what you should use for your pictures. I know we have religious observances and all that kind of stuff, and they should be observed. If you are a person who covers the head, because you do that daily, then you should cover your head. But of course, your ears must be, you should cover your head and allow your ears to be seen. Do not wear a hat or a head covering that obscures or covers the hair or hairline, unless worn daily for a religious purpose. You know, like our brothers and sisters who are Muslim, they have to cover using a hijab, you know. So that is for daily use. It's daily worn for religious purposes. But if you don't use that, don't use a covering on your head. Your face, your full face must be visible, and head covering must not cast any shadows on your face. Any shadows, you know, any covering you have should not put any shadow on your face. Headphones, like I just mentioned, wireless hands-free devices, or similar items are not acceptable in your photos. Do not wear glasses. I said about that. If you wear glasses like me, when you're taking these digital photos, don't wear those glasses. If you normally wear a hearing device or similar articles, they may be worn in your photo. You know, there are people who have already undergone some treatment of a kind because maybe they have some hearing problem and they have been given a device to help them hear. So they normally wear it to use it all the time. They can use such articles when taking these photos. In short, you know, whatever, how you appear like in a day-to-day learning, that's how you should appear for the photo, for the digital photos, for the DV lottery application. So, in a summary, the photo that you have, if it meets those standard specifications, you must upload your digital image as part of your entry. Remember, this photo will be used in your application. And the digital photo that you use must again meet this specification. It must be in .jpg file format. You know, most of the pictures that we take, they'll have different formats. So this must be in this format, JPEG format. It must be equal to or less than 240 kilobytes in file size. So all these specifications, people who know how to format these photos, digital photos, can help you get all these specifications in order. In a square, your picture must be in a square aspect ratio. Square height must equal width. Square height must equal width. Like the frame of my picture here, this is not really a square. As you can tell, this is a rectangle because the length is not equal to the width. So the digital photo must be in square aspect ratio. Another point is that it must be, another standard it must meet is that it must be 600 by 600 pixels in dimension. So all this is under formatting. When your picture is being formatted, these are the requirements for such digital photo. So do you want to scan an existing photo? If you have a photo, an existing photo, and you want to scan it, you know, if you want to, you know, people who are professional to use an existing photo, remember again, it must not be older than 6 months ago. Your photo that is to be scanned must also meet this requirement. Your existing photo must be 51 millimeter by 51 millimeter. In other words, 2 by 2 inches if you are in countries that use inches. If you are in countries that use the standard units of measurement, like where I come from, millimeter, then your photo must meet this specification, 51 millimeter by 51 millimeter. It must be scanned at a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. So these are, again, the standards. If your photo is to be scanned by a professional, it must meet this standard. It must meet this standard. Now, another thing to consider is, what if you have a small baby, a toddler? You know, sometimes it's very, very difficult to take a picture of a toddler or a baby who cannot be told to something, and maybe they understand what they are required to do, or the pose, you know, the correct pose. What can you do when taking a photo of your baby or toddler? No other person should be in the photo. You should not appear behind the photo. No, nothing. No other person should be on that photo. Your child must be looking at the camera. You should try to position your child in a way that his eyes are looking at the camera, both open. There are 2 tips that are given for us here. Tip number 1, you can lay your baby on his or her back on a plain white or off-white sheet. So remember again, the background must be white, plain white. This will ensure your baby's head is supported. If you lay your child on his or her back on a plain white or off-white sheet, especially on a flat bed or on a flat ground, this will ensure that your baby's head is supported and provide a plain background for the photo. So make sure there are no shadows on your baby's face. Shadows is critical. Make sure when you're taking that picture, no shadows on your baby's face, especially if you take a picture from above. If you have a camera and you're trying to take your baby's face, you know, picture from above, make sure that there are no shadows. Another tip, you can cover, for those who usually use car seats, not all of us usually have car seats, but this is a tip given, that cover a car seat with a plain white or off-white sheet and take a picture of your child in the car seat, because the car seat will give the child support. So remember again, you can, for those who don't have car seat, we can always improvise something. There are people who you can improvise even a box and try to position it in such a way that if you place your baby there, your toddler there, they can be in a position to be held, you know, and supported by that. The best thing with the car seat is because it has straps, but majority of us may not have straps. But we can always improvise something that will enable your child be held and supported so that you are in a position to take a picture. But remember, the background of your child must have a plain white or off-white sheet. That is key. That is key. So these are the standards that our pictures, the digital photos required for the DV lottery application are required to meet. I would like us to go quickly and look at the examples of photos which are acceptable. Let's see. And we are going to look at the things we were talking about, the standards. And if we look at the first example given here, it's focusing on the standards about the standard on shadows and lightning. So this is an acceptable photo. One, it is clear and in color, and it has reproduced the natural skin tone, you know. It is properly exposed with no shadows. So your photo should not have any shadow. Yeah, it should be very clear and in color. In color means it is not like black and white, or you are changing or filtering to other colors. As we know, our smartphones have got different filters. You can, retouch your image into different colors. So it should be the natural skin tone, you should tell that this is black that I'm wearing. And the furniture behind me is like dark gray or dark brown, the white wall, or maybe the cream white wall. we are talking of the natural skin tone. The lighting should be very clear. It should be very, very clear. No blurring. We are going to realize that. Look at this picture here. This is an acceptable photo because it is underexposed. Like the lighting is not that good. So the photo should not be overexposed or underexposed. You should adjust your camera exposure or use extra lightening. Yeah. So that's why that's not a good picture. Another one here, not a good picture because the color is not accurate. A lot of filtering has been done to this picture. So it appears like really more white or other colors, not natural color. A good picture would look like that. Photo is clear and in color and produces the natural skin tone. No shadows in that picture. What is the problem with this picture? Shadows. As you can see, there are shadows. The posture or the pose was good, directly facing the camera, but a shadow is on the left-hand side. Now, that is on shadows and lighting to ensure there are no shadows and is proper lighting. Now, let's go to another standard here, glasses. You should not take pictures with your glasses. If you're like me, who wears glasses day in, day out, make sure that when you're taking your digital photo, you remove your glasses. So, remove your glasses. And the examples of bad pictures here, like that one, good posture, but sunglasses. So that's not a good picture. Look at these glasses. So it's not acceptable. A good picture is acceptable. Now, how about the other standard on size and position? On size and position, the head should be centered. Your head should be centered and the correct size. This is a good picture. Yeah. So here are the standards that your picture should actually meet when it is well formatted, when it is well taken and formatted. Your photo should be 51 by 51 millimeter with the head centered and sized between 25 and 35 millimeter. So these are the inches for the countries like United States that uses inches, but other countries, especially like from East Africa, Kenya, where I come from, we use units like millimeter. So you can understand what millimeter means. So if you are renewing online, if you have a photo that you are renewing online, like you had recently taken and you want to reformat it online, you make sure there is enough space allowed your head so that it can allow, you see, this space here should be enough to allow an automatic cropping by our photo tool. So there is a photo tool provided here on the this website, travel.state.gov. It provides a photo tool for cropping your photo to the right size. This tool is just to ensure that your picture is cropped in the right size. It does not do anything else. It doesn't change your picture. So if your picture is blurred, it will not change because you have used a photo tool. If your picture is not correctly, your head is not correctly positioned, it will not be changed by the photo tool. So don't be deceived. The photo tool is just for cropping it to the right size, but the other formatting should be done by someone who really understands how to get all these sizes well formatted in your picture. Your photo must be in this format, JPEG file format, and at least 600 by 600 pixel and at least 54 kilobytes in size. That is on size and position. And you can see some pictures here, some examples of bad pictures which have not met that standard of size and position. Look at that. That picture, it is too close. The camera is too close to the person being taken the picture, yeah? And this picture here, what is wrong with this picture? The head is not centered properly. The head is not centered properly. Look at that picture. Very small. The head size is too small in the picture. So what is wrong with this picture? Full head, not in the photo. Some part has been chopped off. So you look and you ensure that you take care of all these size and position that must be met are well described by these dimensions here, 51 by 51 millimeter and 600, at least 600 by 600 pixel, at least 54 kilobyte in size. And it should be in the format of JPEG format. Now, if you look at resolution, resolution is something to do with the lighting, you know, again, how visible, the print size, the size and the quality. Acceptable photo, these are good example of an acceptable photo. The photo is sharp without any visible pixels or printer dots. It has nothing interfering with it. And some examples of bad pictures that have not met this standard. We have a picture like this, blurred. You cannot see the person clearly. Another blurred or grainy picture is like there are some grains all over the picture. You can also see the shadow there. What is wrong with this? Blurred, again, blurred picture. Look at this. The size has not been met. The size, the print size has not been met. So that is why it is not acceptable. Digital alteration and retouching. This is another standard. You know, with our smartphones today, you can be able to alter your pictures or your images in whichever shape or tone that you want, you know. You can be able to filter your colors and appear so, like I saw in my phone another day, you can make yourself more beautiful, you know, the beautiful retouch, all that kind of stuff that you can be able to filter your images. So it is not acceptable. When you're taking the digital photograph, be natural you, appear natural you, unacceptable. This picture is unacceptable because background is cropped out using a photo retouching tool. Background, that means if I take a picture like how I'm appearing right now, at the back of my body, you can see there's a furniture. You know, with the technology today, there's a way you can be able to crop out or to block all those colors. And that is what we are referring to as cropping out using a photo retouching tool to make your background appear like just neutral color. But that way it will still be not the correct, you know, background for a digital photo for applying for green card. So altering the outline of the head, the face, and the neck is not acceptable. Take your photo in front of a white or off-white background instead of cropping out the background. You can avoid the pain of cropping out the background. Just ensure that you will take your photo on you know, in front of a white background. So we have pose and expression. That is a standard on pose and expression. How should you pose? How should you express yourself? So this is a good, acceptable picture. Applicant is directly facing the camera. You face the camera. Of course, you remove the glasses. Yeah, you remove all other things that you could be wearing that normally you don't wear them like on a daily basis. You know, we are going to learn, or as we stated, there are some things because of religious observances or due to medical reason you can be wearing. Maybe you are hearing device or your hijab, you know, those ones are allowed, but anything else is not allowed. So your eyes must be clear and visible, clear and visible. The whole part of your face must be clear and visible. So that's a good picture that has met the standard of pose and expression. Yeah, look at this. Like somebody like brushing, or like a little pose. That's not acceptable. Applicant is looking down, head is tilted forward, like you're just having fun with yourself. That is not acceptable. Look at this. Too much. It's not neutral. Hey, smiling and all that kind of facial expression is not neutral. Yeah, just compose yourself and just be neutral as you take your digital photo. Look at this. Head is rotated, shoulders are not square to the camera, you see? Not correct pose. Look at this. All the poses, all those kind of poses are not acceptable. We are required to face the camera directly. Your face must be clear and visible with nothing actually tutoring or hindering you with a neutral facial expression. No closing the eyes. Applicant eyes are closed. That's not a good, acceptable digital photo. Attire, hats, and hair. How do we meet these standards? This is a good picture. It's an acceptable one. A woman with her hijab. Acceptable. Subject's full face is visible. No shadows or clothing obscure the face. The face must be clearly visible. Look at this one. The hijab has covered too much of the face. So it's not a good, acceptable picture. The baby here is having a pacifier. Nothing should obscure the portion of your face. A scarf, hindering a portion of your face. The face must be very clear. No hats, no hats. Your hair, hold it well so that it doesn't come to cover part of your face. Background. The background should be uniform, plain, and white or white off and free of shadows. Your background, very important. That's why we have said avoid cropping off the background. Just ensure you take your picture in front of a white sheet. Yeah. So this is a good picture. Bad pictures on that, look at that background. It's not plain. It's not plain. It's not a good background. Look at this background. It's not white, off-white. It's not white. It's another color. Look at that background. It's not white again or off-white. It's actually showing all the outside. Good posture. Again, we had seen this picture. This picture here is not a good picture. Why? Because it's a picture of a baby. The intention was to take the picture of a baby, but we learned that you should not have anybody in the picture apart from the baby, and the face also is somehow covered. The background is not white. So all that makes this picture not acceptable. So children and pictures, how should they appear? This is a good picture of a child. The background is white. No other person is in this photo. The child is facing the camera with his light, eyes open. Yeah. And you can see the eyes are open at least, Good picture. Another good picture. The same, another good picture, because we can see the face forward clearly. Correct lighting and acceptable visual expression. A good picture. Well, clear, visible face. A good picture. This one, not bad picture. Some hair is casting shadows on the face. Photo is exposed, not good lighting. You see, the child is not facing front. with the neutral expression. No. Too much of a facial expression, opening the mouth and, having fun, not acceptable. Covering, obscuring the part of the face, not acceptable. Yeah, those are examples of good pictures for children and bad pictures for children. So when it comes to a picture that you had taken, for instance, not more than 6 months ago, you can use it, for online renew application. Acceptable for online renew application. The customer is directly facing the camera, has a neutral expression, and there is enough space around the customer's head, enough space around the customer's head. And again, when you're doing all that, you should ensure that your digital photograph or photo is saved in JPEG file format, at least 600 by 600 pixel, and at least 54 kilobyte in size. So those are some of the standards and the photo examples that we have looked at that are showing good and bad photos that are based on these standards. So I hope this video will help you even as you take your own photos, even as you have professional take you photos to apply for the DV Lottery 2024. Because you know this, at least you can be able to tell a good picture and a bad one. And even when your picture is taken, your digital picture is taken, ensure you look at it before even you pay some fee. Look at it and feel that you are 100% comfortable with what you see and what you know from this video. If you need to retake the picture again. Bye for now. I hope this will be helpful as we look forward to apply for the DV Lottery 2024 beginning this Wednesday, October 5th, all the way closing on November 8th, 2022.